Today I would like to present about improvement of quality assessment indicators of public service delivery in Kazakhstan. First, I would like to give you some background information about Kazakhstan and that we have done in public service delivery sphere. As you know, Kazakhstan became independent country in 1991 and has about 100,000 civil servants who deliver public service for 17 million citizens. According to the Anti-Corruption Agency of Kazakhstan, in 2013, the government agencies delivered about 95 million public services. However, end of each year, Anti-Corruption Agency and Ministry of Investment and Development adopt the methodology how to measure quality of public services delivered by government bodies. According to the current methodology, it defines 9 criteria and indicators to assess quality of delivered public services. Why does Kazakhstan need to improve quality assessment indicators? As one of the civil servants who has worked for this sphere since 2010, I would like to define some challenges of the quality measurement indicators of public services with which I have faced during my work at the Anti-Corruption Agency, such as 9 criteria and indicators to assess quality of 31 groups and 709 types of public services. Not clear criteria and indicators. For example, as can be seen in attachment 1 of the methodology, the 9 criteria and indicators. However, it is very difficult to define which one is criteria and which one is indicator. Indicators do not describe the quality targets, lack of relevant sources for the information to analyze. For instance, we do not have relevant sources of information to assess the quality of public services except data from government agencies, which might be irrelevant and unfair. Shortage in the civil servants who work for public service assessment units of the agency. For example, in Anti-Corruption Agency, just for civil servants work for the assessment unit, the agency is responsible for assessing quality of public services delivered by central government bodies. Poor involvement of the population and NGOs to assess the quality of public services. How can we improve assessment indicators? To identify specific indicators for quality of public services, we should have more personal attitude to each group of public services by avoiding universalization of them. For example, for public services delivered in education sphere should have its own indicators. To implement this idea, we can involve for assessment process NGOs in this sphere. For instance, to assess quality of services delivered by public schools, we could involve parents' committees of boards, and also they could create.
Okay, thank you. Some conclusion.
Attention.
Давай, Басим.
Thank you. It was very interesting. So who the next?
Басим.
Please.
Dear professors and colleagues, let me bring to your attention my article. In this slide, I would like to show 5 main problems related to the sector of solid waste in Republic of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan generates more waste than France, a country with 4 times greater population and nearly 15 times higher GDP. In 2014, waste per capita is about 2,000 tons annually, whereas in Germany it is 400 kilos. Kazakhstan recycles only 3 to 5% of all garbage. To solve these problems, the government of Kazakhstan has designed a program for solid waste management. The purpose is to increase the efficiency of collection, transportation, disposal and recycling of municipal solid waste. The objectives of the program are upgrade collection system and transportation of municipal solid waste, improve solid waste processing system, widespread introduction of separate waste collection. In this slide, you can see information about financing of the program. Total cost of program is 128 billion tenge. To implement the objectives of the program, the government has set the following target indicators. coverage of the population disposal of solid waste 100% by 2030, sanitary storage of waste 95% by 2030, the proportion of waste recycled 50% by 2050. The program takes into account the best international practices and the analysis of the current situation. Overall, the program is well written. However, in my opinion, the program has the following risks. First, concern of financing of the program. Second, lack of proper human capital in this field. Third, limited coverage in media of solid waste management policy. While at the academy, I did literature review in political ecology. I studied the current normative acts in political ecology, and I studied the best practice in foreign countries, Canada and EU. While at Duke, I want to concentrate on regional level of the problem. I will describe the overall situation in Karaganda region and how the local authority manages solid waste. I will analyze the strengths and weakness of current situation. I will study successful experiences from other regions. I will make recommendation to the solution of the problem. As of now, current situation in Karaganda region is following. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Vitya. It was very short, very provocative, very interesting. Okay, who next? Следующий.
Давайте.
Профессор.
Please.
Just a second, please.
У него тоже презентация хорошая. Мы же из этого с агентства.
Қысқа нұсқа үйреніңдерші, бір 3-4 минуттың ішінде бүкіл ойларыңды жаңағы ағылшын тілінде ма, жаңағы немен ма, 3-4 минуттың ішінде қысқартып ойыңызды айтып үлгеріңіздер.
Dear professors and colleagues, I would like to thank the Academy and Duke for having in this conference. As you know, last 5 years, anti-corruption campaign became one of the main state policy priorities of the developing countries, including Kazakhstan. March 11, 2016, on 60th Congress of the Nur Otan Party, the President of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, mentioned that patronage creates conditions for corruption and racist nepotism. Today, I am going to present the topic patronage as a main cause of corruption in Kazakhstan, as Mr. President Nazarbayev stated that patronage leads corruption, and I also believe that patronage is one of the main drivers of corruption in Kazakhstan. First of all, I would like to introduce the brief background information about condition of corruption in Kazakhstan and our anti-corruption policy. As can be seen on the site, according to international transparency reports about corruption perceptions, last decade Kazakhstan's rank has fluctuated between 105 and 150, and last Kazakhstan was on 126th place by Corruption Perceptions Index. On the next slide, we can see a number of bribery cases in Kazakhstan for last 7 years, and the average number of cases for each is 1,192. It looks like that Kazakhstan's government officials quite stable in taking bribery. What could we do to reduce and destroy patronage in civil service? First, Kazakhstan could create a unified office for personnel management or human resource as in USA. but we can perceive this experience by adapting it for our system. And here we should not forget about our culture difference. For example, we can start from local level. If we will create unified human resource department for all local government bodies, where it deal with selection and promotion of the civil servants in this region. Head of this department could be appointed and fired by the governor with advice and confirmation of local maslihat. In this case, it will be helpful to reduce patronage, because none of the civil servants cannot dictate to the department who they should choose. Then, if it will go successfully, we can adopt it to the central level. Second, limitation of transferring the civil servants from one government agency to other agency as a team of the leaders, because it causes direct patronage and condition for corruption. In this case, it will be helpful to transform from positional model to career model of promotion in civil service. Благодарю за внимание. Назарларыңыз үшін рахмет.
Спасибо, Джанибек. Thank you. Next.
If you have a couple of minutes.
Yes.
Okay, Nurlan would like to present.
Okay.
Не то включил, что ли? Смотри.
Технически.
Ты не то включил.
Можно начинать.
Можешь начинать. Без презентации пока. Какова ваша тема? Этой топик.
Здравствуйте. Hello everyone. Today I would like to present my topic. Measures to fulfill the need for qualified specialists in the manufacturing industry in Kazakhstan. Success in social economic development of Kazakhstan heavily depends on richness of country for natural resources. Since 2000, Kazakhstan has experienced substantial economic growth due to the revenue from the export of oil. Kazakhstan is currently in the process of accelerating its industrial and innovative development. It's seeking to diversify the country's production in order to avoid the over-dependence on the extraction of natural resources for its economic growth. Today, the main focus of the country is concentrated on the manufacturing industry. However, Kazakhstan is faced with a shortage of qualified specialists in manufacturing industries. Research shows that there are thousands of vacancies in the workplace and a critical shortage of qualified specialists in the manufacturing sector. This shortage is a great risk for Kazakhstan's economic growth. Domestic and foreign companies in Kazakhstan have stated that the deficit of human resources and lack of qualified specialists is a key barrier to the implementation of a large-scale program of development of the manufacturing sector. The importance of this problem is being highlighted by the government officials as well. Deputy Minister of National Economy stated that Kazakhstan is facing with a lack of qualified specialists. And in the future, this gap will adversely affect in the development of its national industry and its ability to get new technologies into the country. If you don't close this gap, we will have no one who can fill vacancies on the new manufacturing plants which will be built. As a result, we see that building a new factory and provide them with modern technology is much easier than to train specialists who could work on it. Thus, I believe that the lack of qualified specialists in this sector might be a significant concentrate on long-term sustainable economic growth of Kazakhstan. During my studies at Duke, I will focus on the study of the experience of the United States on government regulation of employment. How does the government of the USA deals with the issues of providing qualified specialists in different sectors? In my research, I will consider issues of improving the efficiency of public policies in the labor market. I will also study the legislative system of the USA in this sector and methods of evaluating the effectiveness of government programs, impact evaluation. In conclusion, in this research, I will try to identify possible solutions how to ensure qualified specialists in the manufacturing industry of Kazakhstan. I hope that this recommendation will help to ensure the goals of the 2050 strategy of Kazakhstan and the sustainable growth of Kazakhstan's economy in the long run. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Who is next? Speak,
Канат Казбеков.
please.
Начинай. Начинай.
Yes.
My research study is comprehensive study and analysis of the state of policy of the Republic of Kazakhstan in the sphere of culture and sport to promote healthy lifestyle in Kazakhstan. I want to focus on the U.S. policies on the development of sport activities at school, college, and among general population, especially North Carolina. The World Health Organization defines healthy lifestyle as eating lots of fruits and vegetables, reducing fat, sugar, and salt intake, and exercising. Levels of physical activity lead to major implications for the general health of people worldwide. Prevalence of NCD, such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and cancer, risk factors such as raised blood pressure, raised blood sugar, and overweight. Physical inactivity is the principal cause for 21-25% of breast and colon cancer burden, 27% of diabetes, and approximately 30% of ischemic heart disease burden. In addition, NCDs now account for nearly half of the overall global burden of disease. Every 10 deaths, 6 are NCDs conditions. According to the physical inactivity is therefore leading risk factor for global mortality. Physical inactivity is responsible for 6% of deaths globally, around 3.2 million deaths per year, including 2.6 million in low and middle income countries, and 670,000 of these deaths are premature. Physical culture and sport of the Republic of Kazakhstan is developed according to the direction of state policy defined in the development of strategy of Kazakhstan until 2020, 2030, 2050, as well as government and industrial program of government, including the ministry strategic plan for 2050-2090, at the program of development of physical culture and sport in the Republic of Kazakhstan, adopted in the framework of the state program Salamat Kazakhstan for 2011-2050. In this case, the priority of the state policy in the field of sport is the great conditions for the proper development of mass sport, the basic for the formation and development of healthy nation of Kazakhstan. Along with this, I want to note that the above sectoral program is aimed at promoting a healthy lifestyle of the population, creating conditions for physical culture and sport, all categories of citizens, making them accessible sport facilities, and improvement of training in the field of sport and sport reserve. Currently, Kazakhstan has these problems: life expectancy 60, both male and female, only 25 and 2% adults systematically go for sport, and 70% kids and 25 students do not go for sport systematically, and 20% of recruits in 2011 were not eligible for military service. Thanks for your attention.
Ханат, вот среди всех выступающих вот, свободно и вольно излагает на английском языке и овладел стилем, американским стилем донесения своей мысли. Свободно, интонацию овладел. Вот можно видеть, что Ханат может спокойно уже на телевидении идти комментатором работать.
Рахмет.
Next speaker.
Да, скажите, а вы презентацию видите вообще?
Да.
Видим.
Видите? А сейчас Ханата видите?
Когда нет, видел, thank you for your attention.
А, до сих пор видите?
Да.
Давайте.
Ну давай картинки потом это нам дошлешь, а вкратце расскажи, что ты хотел сказать, о чем.
Сейчас.
Вот сейчас. Вот Ханата видел.
Ханат рахмет, орныңызға отыра беріңіз. Сақалыңыздың қауіптілеу сәл.
He's saying that his beard looks dangerous.
Вот мына жаңағы қанат тұсап, еркін ағылшынша сөйлеңдер вы. Они вот так не старайтесь выговаривать произношение. Вот это всех проблема всех этих филологических.
So, dear professor, do you have a couple of minutes to listen me?
Был спокойно.
Презентацию видно вам сейчас?
Да.
Есть уже стоит презентация?
Стоит.
So, dear professors, dear conference participants, first of all, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you all of my ideas and findings from my research on one of the most crucial issues in Kazakhstan. During the last decade, the topic of industrialization has become one of the main part of economic policy of Kazakhstan government. The President Nursultan Nazarbayev, in almost all his speeches, emphasizes that the global task for Kazakhstan is to diversify its economy through industrialization. Even the last Congress of leading party Nur-Otan, he defined successful industrialization as one of the main goals for the government itself and for business as well. And today I would like to argue that even though current industrial policy shows a good results and almost all indicators have been achieved for the sustainable development of Kazakhstan's economy and eventually accomplishing the main task of the Strategy 2050, which is becoming one of the 30 most developed countries in the world, the government needs to change its approaches from monitoring to evaluation of our state-run programs and to develop more qualitative indicators of industrial policy. I will not spend your time on background. I will just skip it. So, when the President Nazarbayev announced the 2050 strategy, the primary goal was transforming Kazakhstan into one of the first 30 most developed countries in the world. In the last Congress of leading party Nur-Otan, as I said, he also stated that to be the 30 most developed countries means to be a member of OECD. Most OECD members are high-income economies and are regarded as developed countries. So, to become a top 30 country and to become an OECD member and achieve a goal 2050 strategy, Kazakhstan needs to become a high-income country, obviously. Such an achievement will be not an easy one. And Kazakhstan government, in my opinion, should concentrate on the two following issues. First of all, economic analysts predict that eventually Kazakhstan economy will slow down, not due to the global crisis or global negative issues, but mostly due to entering so-called middle income trap. And this trap is triggered when the GDP per capita reaches a certain level. From the more than 100 countries that have reached the middle income level since 1960, they only 13 have become high-income countries. That is less than 15% over the half of a century. And this middle income trap is considered as a most serious challenge for Kazakhstan. A recent study by the Asian Development Bank finds that no country has achieved a high income status without its manufacturing sectors reached at least 18% of share of total employment and output over a sustained period of time. So, what do we have currently? Today, the total manufacturing share in GDP is only 12.5%, and only 6% are employed in manufacturing. And I think that these are figures to think about. Secondly, a strong monitoring and evaluation mechanism is essential for successful industrial policies. As economies mature, industrial policies become more complex. It's virtually impossible to trace all spillover effects across the industries and come up with comprehensive macroeconomic evaluation of a modern industrial policy package. Therefore, industrial policy must be reviewed and monitored on a program-by-program basis, rather than evaluated as an overall industrial policy package. And this year, as we know, the first year of the second phase of industrial policy program in Kazakhstan, and it started without even actual impact evaluation of our previous stage. So, taking into account mentioned above facts, it's clear that overcoming the middle income trap and become one of the world's top 30 economies will require a well-built industrial policy, and sufficient indicators and comprehensive impact evaluation should become a main target for Kazakhstan economies for the near future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Very good. Очень хорошо. Выступление с презентацией. Но сегодня первое место за овладением английским языком отдаем Ханату. Поскольку вот он свободно вот таком вот тез игеріп алғанын көрсетті. Басқаларына да бұл сабақ. Светлана, надо свободно, вот таким, как будто ты английский знаешь уже все 30 лет. Вот так надо говорить. Так не говорить. И сол жерде тұру керек. Ана тілден қысылмаңдар. Сөзді білгеннен кейін оны қисайтып сөйлесеңдер де, туралатып сөйлесеңдер де бәрі ол сендер әдемілеп сөйлей алмайсыңдар. Сондықтан барын біліп сөйлесе беріңдер. Барлықтарыңызға рахмет үлкен. Мына бүгін пікірлеріңді айттыңдар, жақсы сөйлетіңдер. Түрлерің де жақсы. Сұрақтарыңыз. Олжасқа мынандай сұрақ бар. Олжас или Нұрлан? Нұрлан, мына қазір экономикалық қауіпсіздік. Біз қазір от энергоносителей мы сейчас цены, вы видите, пока вы поехали, какие цены, как идут сейчас в мире, идут эти тренды вот относительно энергоносителей. Вот ваши ближайшие прогнозы какие?
Ближайшие прогнозы на цены носители? На энергоносители?
Да.
Да, наверное, это ко мне вопрос. У меня топик, то есть название моей научной работы — это экономическая безопасность в контексте глобализации, то есть глобализация включается такие риски, как низкие цены на энергоносители. Но прогноз экспертов, можно сказать, оптимистичный. В течение 2 лет цены на нефть придут на уровень 2014 года, то есть постепенно будут повышаться, даже если сейчас они снижаются.
Это на основе источников уже вот новых, которые вы там читаете, слышите, так же? Или
да.
Источники, которые отсюда вы увезли?
Ну, я вот использовал источники вот Давосского форума, тогда были озвучены эти данные.
Рахмет, коллеги.
У вас сколько времени сейчас местное? Local time?
Сейчас местное время 8:44, без 15:09 утра.
Занятия в 9 начинаются, да?
Занятия, да, начинаются в 9.
В этом же здании, да?
Да.
Ну ладно, спасибо вам большое, ребята, за участие. Мы знаем ваши работы на русском языке. Сейчас вы увидели презентацию на английском. Видим, что вы времени тратили. Да, может, у вас к нам вопрос есть, пожалуйста?
Вот, уважаемый Айдар Паркович, Жанжан Хасановна, Гульмира Исламовна, вопросов нет, но хотелось бы поблагодарить, что в такое позднее время уделили время, организовали такую конференцию. Благодарим вас.
Да, по итогам конференции все доклады будут опубликованы в сборнике. Не все, я думаю,
Те, кто прислали.
те, кто прислали, так же, да? Или еще могут дослать?
Все уже.
Нет, да? Теперь вот те, которые у нас презентованы, они будут выступать. Поэтому здесь предполагается поощрение этих докладчиков. Но я думаю, вот я воспользуюсь вот правами заведующего кафедры, и Ханата отдельно наградим вот за свободный, вольный английский язык.
Все на платформе G-Global.
Да, Гульмира Исламовна, siz aytdingiz Нургуль aytdingiz. Да.
Уважаемые ребята, мы очень рады вас видеть. Это такие посвежевшие, такие похорошевшие. Поэтому, конечно...
Профессор.
Hello, Joseph.
Hello. I just want to say hello. I came here. Good to see you. Hello.
Hello.
Начальник.
Это Набельс, исполнительный директор школы Сент.
Вот мы видим, что у вас там друзья новые появились, поэтому всем большое спасибо за участие на конференции. Эта конференция проходит на платформе G-Global, поэтому в данном случае, конечно, и самое главное, мы вас увидели и видим, что вы в здравии, все хорошо у вас. Спасибо большое.
Господа, вот профессорам вот так хорошо кто-то может перевести, Нурлан. Вот у нас на Востоке есть древняя мудрость. Когда отдают ученика учителю, говорят, мясо ваше, кости наши. То есть говорят, чтобы их не жалея, обучали. Переведите, Нурлан, вот это.
You're giving
Самую древнейшую пословицу.
giving the meat to you and we keep the bones for it.
Поэтому если очень нужно 24 часа обучайте.
So he's saying you should force them to work 24 hours.
Они должны у вас научиться не просто быть, они уже, чтобы к нам приехали готовыми аналитиками, возглавлять аналитические центры.
So he's saying everyone should come back to Kazakhstan ready to head the organizations, analytical organizations.
Also, I will be visiting Kazakhstan in the first week of April, so we can meet and discuss in more detail.
Джозеф там будет посещать Казахстан в апреле, в начале апреля этого года.
И вы можете обсудить эти вопросы.
Да.
Welcome, приезжайте.
Окей.
Окей, бай-бай. Жақсы, сау болыңыздар, сау саламат болыңыздар. Хабарласып
Ассалаумағалейкум.
Жақсы.
Исламовна, сіздерге сәлем бәріңізге.
Жақсы, сау
болыңыздар.
Жақсы, сау болыңыздар. Рахмет.
Ой, спасибо вам.